Hi. Okay, I've quickly come back because I've got a spare 10, 15 minutes, something like that. But if my door suddenly goes and the dogs start going crazy, I'll have to sort of finish it there. But I just wanted to answer another one of the questions that's been sent to me, and this one's been sent to me by Dawn, and says, how can I show up in my life and how can I shine my light? So I think that's referring very much to the fact that when these new truths and this new way of life starts coming into you, it's that thing of how do you share it? How do you start bringing these sort of truths, your truths, out to those around you, and how can you affect them with your light? Well, there's quite a few things that you can do. One of the first things that you need to do is look at your attachment. So you don't want to jump into the role of being a helper or a saviour. And you don't want to make judgments on people that they may need your help. So it's one of those things that when we shine our light, and the greatest effect we have is just by being ourselves and letting that light come outwards. But without any attachment. So it's not a case of, I feel I need to enlighten this person, or I need to, I can see what this person's issues are. I know how I can help them and I want to help them. We need to cut all this out because that's incredibly judgmental. And you wouldn't want somebody else thinking about you in that way. And often we can talk about people we want to help. And, these are fully grown people. They've got through their lives so far okay, without coming to any serious harm. And we just see a fraction or a glimpse of their lives, and to make a judgment that we know what's better, what's right for them and how we can help them is very judgmental and also incredibly limiting from the person that we're dealing with. So the main thing that we can do is just live our lives with integrity. So be very focused on our own path and our own self-development, and being the best person that we can possibly be. But also having, so living consciously, but also living with integrity. And what this means is very much standing in our own truth. So it's the thing that if people say something, it could be friends or relatives or, who says things that we don't agree with, we don't necessarily have to take a stand, and we don't have to get sort of quite militant or confrontational. And this isn't about anybody getting to understand our point of view, because that isn't what this is about. What it's about is, going back to, if somebody says something that you don't like or don't agree with, although you don't have to go up against them, you cannot agree with them for an easy life, okay? So you can't be going along with things that you don't agree with, or you're not an energetic match for. So it's one of those things, you don't need to get into arguments with people, but you have to maintain your own energetic integrity. So it's one of those things where, if, for example, this happens an awful lot on Facebook. We have a lot of friends, and some of these friends, we don't necessarily agree with maybe their points of view, and things like that are absolutely fine. But what we need to be looking at is if we've got a serious issue with somebody, and I see this all the time, that people within communities will judge and comment on other people, but then at the same time they are putting lots of love and light on this person's timeline, but they're not doing it in a way with integrity. So it's one of those things that you do have to be prepared to stand alone, if you are standing in your power and standing by what you believe in. So it's having integrity, but without having to be confrontational, because again, this isn't about getting anybody to see our point of view. Our point of view is our point of view. Someone else's point of view might be completely different, and everybody's entitled to their own point of view. All we can do is be like a lighthouse and shine our light, lead by example. So many of the things that I have done in my life is just working on my own self-development and personal development and spiritual development, and just living my life as consciously and with as much integrity as I can, finding my own inner truths, and finding the things that I will compromise on, but other things that I won't compromise on. And then I live my life consciously. And So for me, my responsibility is becoming the clearest vessel that I possibly can, so I can take in more high frequency light and boom it out much, much further. When you live your life like this and you don't say anything, people will eventually come to you because they will want to know, what is it? Why are you always so happy? Why are you always so calm? Why do you always seem so fulfilled? People will want to know, what are the changes? What's happening with you? Why are you being like this? And then you've got the opening to be able to say, well, I started working on my self-development, or I see life in a very different way. So this is the thing, when we just shine our light out and we become this example, people will come to you and will say, what is your secret? What is it you do? Why are you always so happy? And they will want to know. So you've got that. The other thing that you need to do with shining out your light, and to do this with healing as well, that it's unconditional. Okay, so it's, if you're giving comfort to somebody and they need to talk to you about issues that are going on in your life at the time, this is unconditional. It's unconditional giving of your time. It's unconditional giving of your energy. So that when you give these things out there, once they've left your system, they're no longer yours. So these are the things that you have to be looking at, because we do tend to. It's a bit like when I've done the work with the homeless, and I've done the collection for those who are in need and things like that. I will have people say to me, I don't know why you bother doing that, because you'll have people who aren't in need, people who are scamming. Why do you do that? And as I say to all of them, it is my choice to give. What they then do with that is the same with the, if I give money to somebody on the street, it's up to them what they do with it. It was my choice to give, but it's their choice to do what they want with it. So it's that thing as if I gave somebody on the street £10 and they went straight into an off licence and bought themselves some alcohol, then so be it. That is their choice. And who am I to say that they can't seek comfort in some alcohol? They can't get some warmth in alcohol. What is it? People do abuse alcohol, and alcohol isn't a great drug. But who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? Where somebody's going to seek comfort and what comfort that they need. And so it is that thing of when we decide to give. So whether it be our time, our money, our energy, whatever it is we decide to do, that is our limit. We give, and that is our choice. Once we've given it, it's no longer ours. We've given it to somebody else, and what they choose to do with that is up to them. And so that's why, with us shining our light, that is all we're doing. We're just shining our light. And how that affects people is kind of down to them and their higher self. So it's very much like when I do my healing, I send this out, I connect in with the person's higher self, and I send that energy to them for them to then do what is necessary with it. Because as I've said to some people, when I heal, sometimes this isn't your path to heal, and sometimes you need to go through this illness for lots of different reasons. So the healing light that I give you can then be to ease your suffering, or to help you get some emotional balance or calmness, or if it's a relative who's poorly, the light can be there to help you ease and accept the situation rather than actual healing. So because light does so much, and is so amazing and so awesome, it would be a little bit conceited of me maybe to sort of like see where it's going to go, what it's going to do, and the effects it's going to have. And it's also the thing that to show up in your life properly and to shine your light properly, you shine it and then that's it. You don't worry about it. You don't need to know the outcomes. You don't need to know the effects that it had. And yes, some of these things are great and they give us great validation, and you see I post them on the wall as great validation. However, that's something that just comes in freely. It's not something that I seek or look for or, need it in any way to justify my actions. So to truly show up in your life and to shine your light, is your responsibility is to work on your shadow self, work on all of your triggers, making this vessel as clear as possible, your vibrations as high as possible, so you can hold as much light as you possibly can, and also it can beam out much more. There's some great visualizations you can do. So if ever I go to the dentist, the supermarket, well, I do it all the time now, but they're just visualizations where you're seeing your beam of light coming in, and as you breathe, you can pulse this light, so then it pulses out and it can affect everybody around you in a really positive way. But again, the outcome is none of your business. The other thing that you can do is you have to maintain, you have to be, I think it was Amelia Benz who taught me, you have to be impeccable, or it might be Lisa Renee, one or the other. I can remember having a conversation and they were telling me you need to be impeccable in all that you do. And this is very true. So it is the case of you get up and it's important to shower every day. It's important to be clean physically, because that also helps you mentally, emotionally. And so in the shower, it's the kind of thing, I go in there. So every single morning I connect, every single morning I cleanse, I release, I ground. And then I'm maintaining my own energetic integrity, and I'm able to boom my light out so much more. We also have the other thing where we can set intentions. So it's like if I'm waiting in the dentist's waiting room, I will always sit there and connect in and just send out a very nurturing, booming, sort of aloe vera type energy, just to soothe and comfort those who are in the dentist's. And there's lots of things you can do, and just showing up around your family and things like that is to always be setting your energetic intention. So again, it's that thing of, say that you've got children who have got exams or they're quite stressed about things, you can set the energy within your own household so that it's very calming, it's very nurturing, or it can be clarity energy or anything like that. So you can do stuff like that. Now, the second thing, so there is to do lots of booming, so just see yourself as like a lighthouse. Now, the other thing of how to find my voice, now this is really a tough one. And I remember many years ago when I was first sort of looking at all my connections and clearing my channel, and by having a stronger connection, I was understanding more and more and more about the universe and the world and our place in it and what we were here to do. But it was very difficult to express this. And this is the thing with a lot of you. You know what you know, but you can't necessarily verbalize it, and you certainly can't sustain an attack. And that is the problem with putting things out on Facebook, is there's a huge amount of negativity with Facebook. And there was a poll recently which showed that most people are pushed into commenting on posts in order to be right rather than to be supportive. So, and I've noticed it. I mean, people who don't comment on anything I put, but if I do a spelling error or something like that, then they're one of the first to sort of like pick me up on it. So there's a lot of that going on, and it's one of those things, if you're not balanced and you're not sure who you are and you're not coming, from a strong grounding in your own truth, then it does feel like an attack, and it's very difficult to put yourself out there. And when I first started putting things on the Enlightenment Project many years ago, it would be the case of I would write something and then I would run away and hide, because I would think, why have I done this? Why have I put myself out there? Why have I, put it up there to be criticised or pulled down or torn apart? And, who am I to put these things out there? So I do know how difficult it really is. And it's one of those things that you have to push yourself to a limit, to a certain amount, but you don't need to stress yourself out and beat yourself up as you're doing something wrong. So sometimes it's just little things, little things that you put up there, speak if you don't agree with something, or, it doesn't have to be that you don't agree. You can just say, this is my viewpoint and I have an alternative viewpoint from yours. So it's the little things. Yes, you can post things. Yes, you can share things from the Enlightenment Project, and great quotes and different things like that, to find your voice. You have to stand. It's one of those things as well, if you go into meditation a lot and do a lot of meditation, then you will be connected and you'll be guided by your higher self in what you need to do. So it's one of those things that it is good to find your voice, and it is good to put things out there. You don't need to do it all in one go. You can do it little by little. The important thing is maintaining the integrity of your own energy, and allowing that to boom out so that other people can benefit from that and feel their own energetic vibrations rise. We seem to be running out of power already. This does seem to take an awful lot of power. So yes, it is really difficult to find your voice, but do it really slowly. You can post things on the Enlightenment Project if you wish. You can use this as a space to find your own voice if you want to put comments on, if you know, whatever you want to do. If you want to contact me and there's things that you want to do, then that's absolutely fine. Whatever is your way, and this is the thing with everything to do with whether it be your processing or just living your life, you know, this is your way. This is up to you. You don't have to follow what I do, and you may disagree with a lot of what I say because it might not be your viewpoint, and that is absolutely fine, because this is the thing, you kind of need to find what works for you. So you need to put yourself out there, but you don't need to put yourself under a massive amount of pressure. And it could be things like you could find yourself a little group you like going to. And this doesn't always have to be within the spiritual. You know, if you're a knitter, you might like doing a knitting club or a crochet club or a book club or whatever. Just somewhere where you're interacting within a sort of group that you feel comfortable and happy with. So start with the little steps with finding your voice. Once you step into your power, find your truth and step into your power. So this is very much doing the heart meditations, finding out what your heart truths are. Once you truly connect in with what your truths are and stand in your own power, then you will find that you will speak almost without being conscious of it. You're propelled forward to stand forward and speak your truth. So I hope that's helped. If it hasn't, and there's still areas that you're interested in, or I've missed the point slightly in the question, I don't know, let me know and I can add something else. And if not, just, you know, work on shining that light, work on your processing and the processing of the dark side, or the shadow side of you. I am going to be doing some processing courses next year, so there's going to be some introductions to it. So whatever level that you need, either it can just be an introduction that can be like an online course, or we're going to be doing groups in person, or if you need one-to-one. So there's going to be whatever level of involvement you need, level of support you need, and also what you can afford financially. So I'm going to be putting these packages together for you, ready for the new year. Okay, have a fab day. Bye.